Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hey, and welcome to today's episode of Glitches to Gold, and I am Jo Warwick. This week, I was asked, Jo, could you speak about manifesting, the way that you do it differently, and why I've been trying to manifest everything that I want, and yet no matter what I do, it still doesn't turn up. Today, we are talking about the 4 greatest myths around manifesting. So where are we going to start to today? Well, let's argue with the fact that manifesting is not one size fits all. If you look around on any sort of social media stuff, or if you've attended any creator stuff, even places that I adore like Mind Valley, if you listen to people talking about manifesting, they are often talking about the same things over and over again. And yet, more people keep trying to manifest over and over again. The same things are told, which is as long as you envision who you are if you have it and see yourself there, you will manifest. That's the kind of primary secret, that if you can embody it, think it, be it, put yourself there, envision it, feel it, you will receive. Now, I'm not saying that's all wrong. I'm not at all. However, the majority of people who are teaching about manifesting are generator types. And generators generate with energy. They are action people. And they believe that action is the way that things become manifested. And so until they evolve, they start teaching it in a different manner. Okay, now I am a projector, which is I am literally designed to see how the quantum field works. Now, I'm not saying that I am better or generators better. It's not about that. What that leads into, the difference between energetic types and the way that you manifest. But for this section, I want you to understand, if you have been trying to manifest utilizing somebody else's method, it's not always going to work. Okay, it's not going to work, because if you're like me, I can't envision myself in the way that they say. Okay, I can imagine when I meditate, I can imagine. I always talk about how you imagine the sun. Everyone can do that. If you say to someone, tell me what the sun looks like, they know. Everybody has imagination, but we don't manifest in the same way, because some of us are specific in our manifesting types and some of us are non-specific. So already, if you looked at someone's human design, you can tell if they are a specific manifester, which is somebody who needs a massive amount of detail, and somebody who's non-specific who needs far less detail. Okay, so that's already something that's in your system that says, if I think too much about detail, I'm going to get really stressed out and it upsets me. Whereas somebody else needs to get to the nitty-gritty to feel really locked in. So if you don't understand about the way that your own energy type works, the way that you work as an individual, you're just going to be fighting against yourself. This is just like understanding the engine of your car. Not all cars are created the same, are they? They're not. You have sports cars and supercars and off-roaders, and all the engines are different. Yeah, depends on how much horsepower you've got. We are different. And so the way that we want to manifest cannot be one size fits all. It cannot be a simple step by step, which is the reason why only about 20% of people actually see the results that they want, unless they fall into, this will be the second point at this moment, engineering manifesting, which is very different experience to the unfolding and the receiving of aligned manifestations. So let's hear that again. There's engineering manifestation, and then there's receiving and accepting and unfolding with your aligned manifestations. Which one do you think is more fun? Which one do you think is more ease and grace? Which one do you think feels more like riding a wave or going down a mountain? Which one speaks to your soul? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with engineering manifestation, but it takes a huge cost and it comes at a sacrifice. And in fact, fits in beautifully with the matrix and how the matrix would deplete you and tax you. Okay, because you have to work really hard at creating that manifestation. And you could say, I want to have a table. Okay. Now, if you were somebody who was aligned with themselves and they absolutely love creating woodwork, there is a natural part in that journey which would be that you envision the table that you want and you can see it and you draw it out and you feel it and you know the kind of texture and the wood and the way that you want this table to be and look and how you're going to feel when you're eating at this table and how it looks inside your house. Okay? And then you would be getting out all of your tools to create this beautiful table that's a piece of artwork to you. The whole experience from beginning to end was tactile, was sensory, was unfolding. You're thoroughly enjoying something you're creating. Now, does that sound like engineered manufacturing or receiving and aligning with something that's already in the unfolding? It's in the unfolding, okay? So you're still taking action, but what you're not doing is forcing it to happen, yeah? Engineering your manifestations, okay, takes a vast amount of effort. A really good example, okay, endlessly writing out what you want, endlessly thinking about the vision that you want, endlessly saying affirmations, endlessly saying, I've got to be in alignment, I must be in a positive state. That's one way of trying to manufacture manifestations. And the physical form would be like, I don't know, I want to sell 5 tickets to this event, okay? And physically taking yourself round to every single person in the vicinity to make it happen, to pouring your life force into everywhere that you can go to make people chase them up, make it happen, lock it in, force it in, get that. I often think of it as a jigsaw puzzle piece into a jigsaw, and often it doesn't fit because you're engineering it to happen. Yeah? Engineering it. There's no expression. And it's also, you can tell when you're trying to engineer something, is the question of why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So that leads us into when you realize that the thing that you're doing, if it's coming from a why that feels like self-expression, it feels like delight, it feels like, well, it's inevitable. When it arrives, it's just inevitable. It's who I am. It fits who I am on my frequency because I'm being myself. It's like, oh, that's really fun. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to create that. And that feels really juicy. Like the person creating the table. It's art. Yeah. And it's life meeting itself. It's love meeting itself. It's natural. It's aligned. Yes, you've been envisioning it. And yes, you've been feeling it. But in that whole process, you've been enjoying it. The whole thing isn't about trying to get to something so that you feel better. It's that I feel amazing. I love my life. I love what I'm creating. I love what I'm doing. I'm creating this. It's fun. Fun of the creation is when you know that you are more in alignment with receiving and allowing the unfolding. And you're not wrapped up with the outcome. Because the truth is, when you're in that flow, the outcome is always going to be way bigger, way better than you could have imagined because you've let go of the outcome. But when you're holding on to this engineering of it, it's always way smaller. It's always going to be disappointing. Always. It's going to be disappointing. And the key sign that you've done engineering is that it's disappointing. And secondly, it never lasts. It's glitter. It's not gold. Okay? It's just glitter. So what happens if you can't envision? Well, as I said, manifesting is so connected to who you are. And we've talked already about kind of like if you are a specific or non-specific manifester. I am a non-specific manifester. So my nervous system, if I think too much in detail, my nervous system starts to get tight because it's stressful to my nervous system. Yeah, that's not because my nervous system is wrong. It's because I am a 4-6 projector. I am a non-specific splenic projector. That's the way that I am made. Yeah, it's like saying my car is a Golf. Yeah, I don't expect my car to be a Ferrari. Okay, so if you are designed as somebody, and you don't have to know your human design to do this, if it feels good to you as somebody who likes detail, and when you want to think about, oh, I want to get this new car, and I've seen cars around, you might not be able to envision the car. If you can't physically imagine the car, this is where it's really fun to play. And I always say this to my clients, start looking around. Yeah, start looking at the cars people are driving, or houses, or whatever it is you want. But which is why things like Pinterest and Instagram are so good when you're creating something. Yeah, start looking around and going, oh, I like that and I don't like that and I want this. It's like going to the buffet. Yeah, I always say life is a buffet, and so you want to explore it and you want to think about, well, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really want? And at first you're going to go, oh, sparkly things. Yeah, oh, shiny glitter. And then you'll go, but yeah, but how would I feel about that? And it's the point is that you look at things and you go, yeah, that looks really good, but how would I feel about it? Here's an example. So, of course, I'm off on my travels. And over my 4 months, of course, I've been exploring the places that I want to go. There's planning, there's looking at images, I've been online, there's sacred temples I want to see, there's mountains I want to look at, there's lots of lovely things. And yet there is also a practicality. Some of it I'm like, oh my God, that looks so good. But in fact, just seeing it online, seeing it on a picture is like, oh, well, that's nice, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty, but do I really want to be there? Okay. The second part is a practicality. Okay, it's all very well going, oh, I'd love to go and see that temple, but my knees are not designed for that anymore. Having been a professional sportswoman and done an awful lot of sport over my life, my knees are not designed to go and hike up a mountain or hike up 300 steps to go and see this thing. It could ruin me for days. Okay, so there's a question of going, how would I feel when I'm there? Will it be enough? Is it the right fit for me? And it's exactly the same in the thing that you're manifesting. So the joy is in the looking. I'm just quickly interrupting this podcast episode to say, firstly, I absolutely love having you in my world. If you love this podcast as much as I do and you want it to grow and expand, please feel free to give a little gold. You can find the link in the show notes to donate to this podcast and its continued reach into the world. Now, I was telling somebody this week about at a lunch, I love cars, and I used to live next door or around the corner from a Porsche garage. And one of the ways I envisioned myself as a woman who not only had the car, but the woman who was driving it. Yeah, the woman who had the car, had the capacity to drive the car, but the one I felt when I was driving it, very fucking sexy. When I'm driving a sports car, I feel very, very fucking sexy. So I used to dress up and go around the corner and test drive these cars, and they let me do it. I don't know, I must have done it 6 or 7 times, and I would dress up and I would flirt and I'd take these cars out for a drive because it was all part of the trying. Yeah, trying it on. Now, I have had friends say to me about my house sitting, they say, well, it's like you're trying on different houses, and that is the absolute truth. I don't actually want to live in all of these houses, but my gosh, do I love trying them on. I like to see how I would feel if I had that. And because of the fact I fundamentally want to live everywhere all the time. Yeah, basically everywhere all the time. I absolutely love so much of life and the planet. And sometimes I need trees and sometimes I need water and sometimes, yeah. So I try things on, and having those experiences sometimes satisfies me to go, I loved it for this time, but I don't really want it for a long time. Which is kind of like the same as traveling. But when we're talking about manifesting, it's the same thing. You're planning. You're planning and creating and thinking about, oh, I want to try this on, and I want to, it's like going window shopping. Yeah? We all do it. And yet when it comes to manifesting, people seem to think that this isn't part of it. And it's a huge part of it. You don't wait to go and try on the clothes. Go and try on the clothes. Yeah? If you're thinking, gosh, I'd like to go and get some designer clothes, go and try them on. See if they really work for you. It's also a bit like, I went out to lunch at a very, very lovely restaurant this week. I didn't want the full experience. I wanted to see the place. I wanted to experience the taste of their food and their amazing chef. I wanted to experience their brilliant service. So I went for a very light, small lunch, some beautiful crispy rice sushi lunch thing. And the service was exquisite. And it was the whole experience that was amazing. And it cost me bugger all, yeah? Because I didn't need everything to be fulfilled by this one thing. Yeah. Manifesting is a game. It's playing. And the more that you understand that it's about playing and dress up. Yeah. Dress up. And so when you think of manifesting being something you've struggled with and you're fighting with it and you find it really hard, and the question more about that is, how do you feel about playing? How do you feel about creating? How do you feel about allowing yourself to be many different versions of yourself as you're trying things on, but you're still being you? Yeah? You get to play dress up. You're not becoming someone else. You're just being you, checking things out. And sometimes you can do that in your head. Yes, that is fine, but that's only a first step. The more important step is go and play. There's nothing wrong with a vision board, but don't get locked in thinking the vision board is the thing that you're doing. It's a step in the planning process. Yeah? Because your engagement with the universe is this sorting process of going, I feel desire, I really like this. Oh, I'm going to keep exploring it. No, that's not for me. Oh, it's like dating. Yeah? So that it's bringing back the joy to manifesting, the pleasure and the play of manifesting that you've probably lost somewhere along the line, and particularly around subjects like money. But why is it any different with money? Why is it any different with your business? And the only difference is when you're choosing to come from engineering it instead of being in alignment with the unfolding. Now, you know, this is what I teach inside of Unlimited. This is what I teach inside of Glitches to Gold, that you are coming into being aligned with yourself, being aligned with your gold standard, being aligned on your golden timeline, that you're stripping away the bullshit that you've been conditioning, that you've been wearing to try and be someone else, chasing a better version of yourself, all of those things that keep you inside of a matrix ideas, and instead of that you're already made for it. The more that you come into alignment with yourself and the pleasure and the play and the fun from yourself, your soul, and the self-expression, the more things get speedy, they ramp up, they get bigger, they get more fun. Yeah? Because you're coming from self, you're coming from something that's stable. And you get to play with that vision. And also, it means fuck all about you. And I really want you to hear this. People try to engineer manifesting their desires, their wishes, because they think it means something about them. But if you come to yourself, and I said to you, it's about playing, it's about dress up, and it means nothing about who you are. It doesn't change who you are because you are already fucking brilliant. You're already magnificent. You're already designed for your success. You are already gold. You're just playing at ways of expressing yourself, just like an artist does. Maybe they change paints and canvases and textures and they go from crayons to different colours. It's art. And that's what you are, an artist, a creator. And that's all that manifesting is. It's about creation. And it's not about trying to chase something that will give you a relief and a satisfaction for 5 minutes. And that's where people fall down. Come back to the truth of it, of who you are, in the pleasure and the fun of it, and you will see that your manifesting happens with so much ease. So much ease. You suddenly go, gosh, I'm dreaming different, bigger things because I'm already living it. Just make sure in that manifesting process that you are celebrating what you have. You're honoring it. You're saying thank you for it. You're saying hallelujah. We use this word a lot inside of Unlimited. But you're enjoying what you've got. You're not just chasing for the next thing. You've got to adore what you are creating because remember, it's playtime and it's fun. And if you were a child playing dress up, you fully get into character and you love it. And you love it and you adore it in your whole experience. You fully go for it. That's all life is, really. It's all it really is. So if this is speaking to you, I hope that this encourages you to go back to the pleasure and the play of it. This element of joy is a big part of inside of my money story reset. I bring you back to the joy of money. So if you've been feeling like money is the area that you struggle to manifest, then the money story reset is for you. Yeah, it's instant access. You get to have it. It walks you through for 5 days. You're also going to be able to get access to my beautiful, gorgeous Goldie. She's created off the back of Glitches to Gold. She is not like any other AI you will find. Goldie is the brain of Glitches to Gold, and she has literally been programmed to be your coach, your integration guide, and support you move from glitches to gold. So you can talk to her all the time about everything that you're going through. So she's there to support you moving from glitches to gold. So you can have access to her too. So there's lots of ways that you can start. And if you're totally new to my world and you want to step out of being taxed, constantly being taxed for being a woman and making life really hard, really difficult because you're giving 80% and only getting 20% back, which you've probably recognized this inside of your manifesting methods, then of course Decode the Matrix, The Secret Feminine Tax is your place to start. And you have heard me say throughout this, I've mentioned about Unlimited. Unlimited is my 6-month program where you get to work with me. You get to work with all the methods of Glitches to Gold that I have been developing, talking about for the last, nearly 30 years. Okay, so you get to have the amazing experiences that my clients have. But there's lots of lovely ways into this world, and I just love having you on the podcast. But my challenge for you today, more than anything, is to have play back into your manifesting, to explore and play and try things on in your mind, yes, but more importantly, go out and try it in life. Test drive something, go and try the clothes on, do the thing, yeah? Do the thing. Take the next step to something that feels towards what you want. And in that, towards should feel like joy, should feel like curiosity, yeah, should feel like pleasure. So this is the place for you. And if you want to find out anything I've talked about today, head on over to glitchestogold.com. You will find access to everything, including my articles on Brains magazine and all of the other ways I've talked about today. I'm sending you so much love. Oh, and P.S. If you want to know more about manifesting, creation, and all those things that are inside of the £1 Million portal. Okay, this is my legacy portal because I've been doing this for such a long time. So you can go and check that out too. So I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful day. Please like, subscribe, rate, share to any woman you want to know. My greatest love language is you sharing this podcast around and letting other women come into the world of Glitches to Gold to understand that they were already designed for gold and success. Sending you much love. Mwah.